Welcome, everybody, to Conversation with Zaki Baruti, with your host, Zaki Baruti. And like always, I want to give a shout out to my biological family. What's happening to the Universal African Peoples Organization family? What's going on? And to New Life Evangelists in the family headed by Reverend Rice. Keep up the great work, and a shout out to our cameraman, Bob. On that note, we're going to have another great show because we're going to be dealing with history and the present reality facing our people and the great celebration that's known as Juneteenth. And in studio with me is a beautiful young lady, and that is Sister Stephanie Taylor. Welcome to Conversation with Zaki Baruti.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
Thank you. You wear a lot of hats around just being an activist and working with the Juneteenth movement. Share all of the various hats that you do wear.
Well, I am currently the vice chair of the State of Illinois Reparations Commission. So we're very excited to answer what is the next step as it relates to Juneteenth in Illinois. And as you know, when Illinois moves, we set the tone for the country. So very proud to do that. I'm also the founder of the Illinois Juneteenth Committee. So we were part of the impetus, along with many residents in Illinois, to ensure that Governor Pritzker signed Juneteenth into legislation as a holiday. And again, the next step would be reparations here in the state of Illinois. I'm also the founder of the Miss Illinois Juneteenth Scholarship Pageant program, because as we know, education is very important. And I'm finally the executive director and founder of Community Development Sustainable Solutions, where we prepare individuals for global agendas that will reach us in the community.
I know that's right. Let me salute you for your involvement. But as you was laying out all that you do, a thought came to my brain in terms of the question, why is it important for folks to be involved? I mean, for all the listeners that's out here, why is it, you just shared, all that you do. Why is it important?
I will say this to the viewers and to you. If we don't have a chair at the table, we can best believe we're what's for dinner. We need to quit complaining and start being about the solution. That's why, again, my nonprofit is Community Development Sustainable Solutions.
Now, exactly what does your nonprofit do? What are some of your achievements, or, exactly what do you do?
Well, we are state pillars of excellence for the state of Illinois when it comes to equity and inclusion. We received that honor back in 2012, and we've proudly held that title and upheld that mission to alert and awaken the spirit and the voice of our community. We've since then taken those people that we label as historically underrepresented and underserved, and we begin to empower them and welcome them back into society and make them part of the tax base. Tell them that they do have a voice. Make them activists themselves. Finally, we have an nationally accredited apprentice program. So it is the prestige professionals. Governor Pritzker spoke on a lack of teachers across the state of Illinois. So we have established a teaching pipeline to replenish the teachers and also improve the quality of teachers. It's not only important that they just know math and English, but they need to understand some of those other skills that allows them to manage the classroom and save our children's life.
Absolutely. As a former educator, I totally agree with you on that statement around education. Now, when you were saying in terms of you help empower people in terms of your target audience, in what ways are you empowering them?
By job training, by mentoring, by tutoring, by giving them volunteer opportunities that put them face to face in the schools where they're already disenfranchised or removed or shunned from that environment. So also, again, giving them the opportunity to use their voice.
Now, what kind of numbers are we talking about in terms of actual, people?
Absolutely. I'm glad you're asking that question, because there are many organizations that don't look like us that are in all Black communities that tout what they do, and the numbers and the measurables don't show up. Again, we're state pillars of excellence. So at like right now, I would say over 400 individual youth we've employed and helped to be employed.
Okay.
As far as the adults, we are looking at 31 currently that we have enrolled into our Prestige Professional program that makes the teachers and the paraprofessionals. These individuals are moving from a pipeline to empowerment. And this was just a pilot program.
I'm glad you say it to an empowerment, because, there's the old phrase, pipeline to the prison, so that serves as
we helped with that too, sir. We did help to raise that number where they could not go into the school and Mirandize our youth at 12 and 13, because that's very intimidating. And we raised it to where the parents needed to be present, and they needed to be at least 16 years old if the police were going to interface with that child at school. So we do work to decrease the school-to-prison pipeline with youth programs as well. Job program is just one of them that we aim at youth.
Now, what particular communities are you established in that makes that impact?
We are right in the heart of East St. Louis. So that is a targeted area and a very stigmatized area.
Right.
Not only East St. Louis, we serve the first founded Black community, Brooklyn, Illinois, where the Underground Railroad is located.
Okay. All right.
We also serve Madison and Cahokia Heights.
Okay, then.
And we look to expand, but again, we're targeted to empower those people that need to be ready for global agendas. Juneteenth is part of that. That's why I'm wearing this today, to educate people.
Okay, and I was going to transition into Juneteenth. Many people may not even have a concept of what Juneteenth is and what represent and what is that. But before you answer that question, we got to take a break.
For years, Zaki Baruti has been an activist in our community, and it's a real privilege of mine to have known Zaki, to be with him on many of the marches, and to continue to see his perseverance. You and I also must know that we can, in the midst of pressure, and yes, there's a lot of pressure on being an activist. It's a thankless job. Many times people don't appreciate it. Many people don't understand you. They ridicule, they reject you. But we have to continue to, in spite of the pressure, to continue to trust God and speak truth to power. That's not easy. It's easy to give in. I think of the nuclear submarine USS Thresher that went down so deep in the 1960s into the ocean. It just exploded or imploded, and the pieces were all over. 129 men died, but yet there's those fish they discovered later that could continue to swim in the midst of all that pressure that destroyed that submarine. Why? Because there was equal pressure inside that little fish that withstood the rest of it. Now, you and I can experience that power inside of us, and we find it right here in the Word of God. For greater is He who's in us than he that's in the world. Christ, the hope of glory, can come and dwell within us. As we surrender our life to Him, we'll see Him do exceedingly abundantly beyond we can even ask or think. This Bible is just filled with directives, how to overcome pressure. Read the book of 1 Peter, where it says your faith is more precious than gold. See in 2 Peter chapter 1, the promises that are awaiting you at this particular moment there. And continue to look at how the disciples overcame pressure in Acts chapter 5, even counting it all joy, as James chapter 1, verses 2 and 3 tells us, in the midst of pressure. It's right there in the Word of God. I'd encourage you to read the Word of God, and let Christ's hope of glory come and dwell within you, because the pressures are becoming more and more intense at this particular time. But truly, you and I can be the activist, more than conquerors through Christ who strengthens us. Continue to persevere, never giving up or giving in, but continue to give it to God, moving forward, experiencing hope and help at this time.
Welcome back to Conversation with Zaki Baruti. In the studio with me is Miss Stephanie Taylor, who wears a lot of positive hats as far as involvements, which each of you should be involved in trying to make a change. So again, I just want to salute you for the involvement that you are currently involved in. Now, transitioning on the other side, we were just getting ready to talk in terms of Juneteenth.
Yes.
And you pulled up to the camera those proud colors and what have you. And what are those proud colors symbolic of?
The red, white, and blue. You know, a lot of people are saying that, you know, Juneteenth, we should be wearing our our Pan-African colors. They want to wear Jamaican colors. All of them are beautiful, and they all have a place in history. Juneteenth represents the fact that our American flag, was the 13 founding countries.
Colonies.
Colonies, yes. So therefore, when we were free, we're also wanting to be represented and recognized as full-fledged members of the United States, because we helped to build this country. We know that. And we still are building this country today. We have equal rights. We have equal size to these colors. The red, white, and blue says that we want equal equity in our United States, just as our flag represents. Anyone from any land can come here and realize their goals and their dreams.
But, you know, in terms of the reality, of course, we have not achieved that. I guess you would agree to that in terms of the full equality that's projected that we should have. So within that context, in fact, that's interesting you had raised that, because as we go into Juneteenth, it was in 1865 yes. that Juneteenth had its origin. Explain a little history of Juneteenth.
Absolutely. Texas was basically a stronghold where they were shipping slaves and holding slaves just in case they won the war. They didn't. General Granger took troops from Illinois, the United States colored troops, and they marched to Galveston, Texas.
So the troops were from Illinois?
They were from Illinois, yes,
sir.
The
Show Me State?
Yes, yes, sir.
Is that right? Wow, that's a little bit of history I wasn't conscious of. Okay, go ahead, though.
Absolutely. So therefore, once we were free, then we began to do what our country is famous for, and that's the great filibuster. Whether we're talking about Jim Crow.
Yes, but let me stop you, though. Mm-hmm. Going back, though, in terms of the origin of Juneteenth. Exactly okay. Let's give the historical perspective as to what happened and how this came about.
Okay, at first, let me say this, because a lot of people don't know this interesting fact. There was a person named Nance Leggings, right? And Nance was the first slave to be freed. And they were here in the state of Illinois with President Lincoln. They were the impetus to make him sign that Emancipation Proclamation in the first place. So National Juneteenth, we are working to get a coin in that honor. As a matter of fact, on the 14th of June, a marker will go up in memory of Nance. We've been working to...
Now, Nance was exactly whom now?
Nance was the first freed slave.
Mm-hmm.
And from Illinois.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, mm-hmm. From Illinois.
Period. Mm-hmm. So we're very excited about that. So again, there's a marker going up on that behalf. Some of the colored troops that went to help General Granger, they were buried in unmarked gravestones, and a parking lot was put over them in Peoria, Illinois. So there has been an official marker in their recognition and honor. So again, when we talk about reparations, it's something that we have to cut through all of these layers, sir. So from the emancipation to General Granger and the Illinois troops marching to free them, to now we are looking at reparations and uncovering history. Should we change education?
Absolutely. But again, going back to the Juneteenth, though, for our folks' information, Granger was down into Texas.
Yes.
To let the folks know who were enslaved in Texas that you were free and should have been freed early on as an extension of the Civil War, you know, in terms of it ending in April of 1865. And he's getting down there right at June, in fact, on the date of the 19th,
yes,
to
sir.
let folks know that you were free. And that's the great celebration coming about.
It is, sir.
And on that note, we'll have to take another break.
So many people are hurting and hopeless. They feel despondent and in despair. They are living on the streets in conditions that are horrible and not suitable for any human being. And it takes so many loving people to walk alongside them and give them opportunities to change. Zaki Baruti and his show is exposing the people who are making a real difference in our community. And he's been a faithful partner of New Life Evangelistic Center for many years. And I want to invite you to be like Zaki Baruti and make an impact in someone's life today. You can love others well, and you can do it in a meaningful and powerful way. I am so thankful for people who have partnered like Zaki. And I just want to share some of the impacts that you're really making when you partner with New Life Evangelistic Center. You're offering 365 days of care for a woman in need who's fleeing domestic abuse. You're offering not just care, but discipleship and mentorship and training services for her. Not only are you doing that, you're also getting hygiene kits and survival gears into the hand of people who need them, who are living on the streets of St. Louis. Not only that, but you're caring for orphans and widows in India, and you're preaching the gospel in every single one of these places, India, Ukraine, and all throughout mid-Missouri. You're also helping hundreds of people each day in the day center in Springfield. You're making a real impact on the lives of hundreds every single day. And you do that when you partner alongside New Life Evangelistic Center, along with faithful partners like Zaki Baruti. How I thank God for people like you for change.
You're invited to the Renewable Energy Show on Labor Day in New Bloomfield, Missouri from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. For further information, call 573-896-8912 or go to www.newlifeevangelisticcenter.org. A great day of family fellowship. You're going to have an opportunity to learn about raised bed gardening, tilapia fish, earth homes, dome homes, solar power, and much, much more. Again, Labor Day from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in New Bloomfield, Missouri. An opportunity to learn about the world of renewable energy.
Welcome back to Conversation with Zaki Baruti. In studio with me is Miss Stephanie Taylor. Very involved in our community on a lot of levels. On the last part of our conversation, we were dealing with Juneteenth.
Yes.
And going forward now, Juneteenth has scholarship award programs, right?
Yes, sir.
Explain that.
Yes, sir. Again, in the spirit of education, proper education, and acknowledging Black excellence, we have founded the Miss Illinois Juneteenth Scholarship Pageant Program, which is a statewide program highlighting talented young ladies across the state of Illinois. We do have a Mr. Juneteenth, but at this time we're steady growing that. We might fully implement that for a national competition next year or so, but for now we do have the Miss Illinois Juneteenth Scholarship Pageant Program. And we have our current queen, Miss Grace Glass, and she is an excellent steward of her position.
So how long has that been in existence? And you say the state, so is there a national-wide competition?
Yes,
or
sir.
do every state, explain that
This
process.
is the national T-shirt here that I'm wearing today, yes. This is the national pageant T-shirt.
Okay. And just most recently, too, the last convention around National Juneteenth took place last year, am I correct? In
Yes, it did.
what city?
In Galveston, Texas, which is exactly ground zero for where the slaves were freed.
Absolutely, absolutely. So in terms of when people, what is the level of your perception of the embrace, first of all, of our community for Juneteenth and then the larger community?
Well, that's an interesting question. The embrace is people are ready for change. But again, historically, our community is more used to complaining about a problem sometimes than actually helping and supporting a strategy. They're more concerned with why would we dare wear some colors from where we were born. We're a new star, a new people, and a new type of freedom. And we demand our place here in this country. And that's why our national agenda is the wave of freedom. So when you asked me that, it brings me to our national wave of freedom. Don't appropriate Juneteenth. Don't try to take it from us, and don't try to sweep it under the rug. Again, I want to give honor to Governor Pritzker and Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, our state representatives, for the work that they did and the work that we continue to do, which is moving towards reparations. When we talk about wave of freedom, that's because we continue to need to move forward.
Now, when you speak of reparations, why is reparations an important issue? I mean, and what is the basis of reparations, would you say?
The basis of reparations has to do with that root word, repair. We want the system repaired. We want the wrongs that have been dealt out over the years systematically to be erased and eradicated and acknowledged. You can't have an argument with a loved one and not look for acknowledgement, sir.
So that's starting with an apology in a sense. In a sense.
In a sense, sir,
Right.
yes. Acknowledging what's happened.
Right. Right. And my next question, I'm going to have to say it on the other side of the break.
As New Life Evangelistic Center works to get back into the 1411 Locust building, it has first responders that are on the streets day after day. It's helping the hurting and homeless, women and children through a wide variety of safe houses, along with homeless veterans and others that are in need, on-the-job training programs, and much more. And all of it's possible because of those of you that are supporting the work of the New Life Evangelistic Center. It's New Life Evangelistic Center that owns and operates NLEC TV, also seen on your set on 24.2. I want to encourage you to have that app put on your phone, NLEC TV. Encourage your family and friends to do the same. And as you support New Life Evangelistic Center and NLEC TV, you're also helping the Zaki Baruti Show and other programs that New Life Evangelistic Center produces. I'm asking you to please continue New Life, keep New Life in your prayers as we're working to be there when people are hurting. There's so many homeless women and children, so many people that are in need, and it's the prayers of caring people like you that make it possible for us to help each and every one of these individuals.
2 Corinthians 5:17. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has gone, the new has come.
Welcome back to Conversation with Zaki Baruti. In the studio with me just for a few more minutes is Miss Stephanie Tiller, and we're discussing Juneteenth and reparations and what have you. In terms of, cite just a couple of wrongs that America has done to us. Real quick, because we're almost out of time.
In Illinois, we've got the race riots.
East St. Louis race.
East St. Louis race riots.
1917.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, and I would like to save some of this for the hearings that are about to start taking place.
And when would they be?
They will be in September. The African Descendant Citizens Reparations Committee for the state of Illinois will begin our tours in September 2023. Allowing the citizens to know what is our next step.
I know that's right. Real quick, how would people get in contact with you?
You can call me 618-514-3199. You can also send an email to iljuneteenth@gmail.com. iljuneteenth@gmail.com. And I just want to commend and thank you, sir, for the work that you do. That's why I came on like this.
Power to the people.
Heads up and hearts ablaze.
I know that's right. I see we got 1 or 2 more minutes. Your closing statement within a minute's time.
Sometimes we have to go out on a limb to get to the fruit of the tree. If you stay and you stick and stay at something long enough, eventually you'll get your toe in there, you'll get your knee in there, your elbow in there. Before you know it, we're standing equal footing. Our goal is equality, not any small stars, big stars, not just the 13 founders, everybody. Red, white, and blue, we are a new star, a new freedom, and a new people. Together we rise. Happy Juneteenth, wave of freedom.
I know that's right. So on that note, I truly appreciate you being in the studio with me. Look forward to the day that we do have our reparations. And to the audience, like always, I say get involved. Join a progressive movement that speaks truth to power. And always exercise your right to vote. And why is it important to vote? 20 seconds.
Again, if you're not at the table, then you're what's for dinner. It's as simple as that. The politicians get into a spot, but they need you to inform them of what their next step is. Wake up and start talking.
And again, you heard it now. Get involved. On that note, may God bless each and every one of you, and each day do a good deed. Peace.